In today's episode, I'm taking a look at a selection of fragrances that I believe command respect and have an air of authority about them. These are all stylish, grown-up and gentlemanly scents that you'd expect to smell on a sharply dressed, mature male that's kind of worldly wise. So if you've got an important meeting or a job interview coming up and you're looking for a sophisticated smelling fragrance that projects confidence, then today's video is going to be right up your street. So to find out what's made it into today's list, stay tuned to this episode of Mags Frags. Yes, hello again and welcome to this latest episode of Mags Frags, where it's the fragrance that's the star of the show. My name's Paul and today we're going to be revisiting a few masculine classics that perhaps don't get spoken about that much anymore. But in my opinion, these all ooze sophistication and class. I've selected 5 for the daytime that are all clean and crisp, that'll be perfect to complement a sharp suit, and then 4 that are more rich and full-bodied that'll be probably better suited to wear in the evenings to maybe a swanky black tie event. Okay, so first up is one that I tend to wear mostly in the daytime, but it's super versatile and would suit pretty much any situation. This is Pasha di Cartier Edition Noir EDT. And it's a very underrated scent in my opinion. It's a woody aromatic that opens up with a burst of fresh citruses, mint and pepper, and it combines with violet, heliotrope and green notes in the heart of the scent. We've also got iris, amber, cedar and cloves in the base, and from the first spray it just grabs your attention with a clean, bright and very peppery kick. The fresh spicy opening is followed by more of a powdery, woody dry down, with the iris and violet bringing a clean, smooth floral softness to the aroma. But it retains its bright, clean character for most of its lifespan, and this couldn't fit the description of a classy fragrance with authority better. It's a really elegant smelling scent that's unique and bold enough to make you stand out in a crowd without being too loud or overbearing. You're not going to smell this on younger guys, and it has more of a grown-up and mature quality about it, but it's far from old-fashioned smelling. It's a fragrance that when people around you smell it on you, they'll instantly know that you're wearing something a little bit special, expensive and sophisticated. The performance on this is great with a really strong projection that lasts all day, and you literally can't go wrong with this one, and it's a great one to open up today's episode with. Okay, so next up is one that I'd say is a little bit more quirky and daring, and it's probably more suited to evenings and to wear in the cooler seasons. This is Dunhill A Garwood that you can now pick up for around about £60 for a 100ml bottle size, but in terms of smell it'd easily pass off as like a £300 niche fragrance. It has a dark, rich and luxurious scent profile with a sweet leathery accord taking centre stage. But you also get high quality notes of saffron, black iris and agarwood that just takes this one to the next level, and it's about as masculine, opulent and sexy smelling as you can get. It is very masculine, very classy, and I absolutely love it. It's one of the more complex ones in today's list, and it won't be for everyone, that's granted, but if you want a very expensive smelling scent with a very serious, refined character, then definitely check this one out. It's a bit of a billionaire's fragrance at an affordable price. The performance is decent with a moderate projection. It'll last you 7 or 8 hours before you stop detecting it. And yeah, definitely if you can get your hands on this around about the £60 mark, you've got a definite bargain. Okay, so number 3 on the list is another all year round banger, but again I think it's the absolute perfect fragrance to wear as a daytime or office scent if you're in a bit of a position of authority and wear like a sharp suit to work. The one I'm referring to is Sidrat Boise by Mancera, which often draws comparisons to Creed Aventus because of its bright, tart, fruity opening and its intense woody dry down. And although I can agree with the obvious comparisons to Aventus, this does have its own personality and character, and for me it's become just a passing resemblance, and the kind of more you wear it, the less Aventus like it becomes. This is a fresh, clean and uplifting fragrance with lemon, black currant and bergamot opening up the scent and taking you through into an earthy, woody dry down of cedar, patchouli, moss, sandalwood, leather, musk and vanilla. It's super easy to wear and extremely versatile, so you could wear it as an all year round signature scent. You can now pick this one up for around about £69 on the All Beauty website for this 120ml bottle size. And for a niche brand, that's an absolute steal, considering the latest nondescript designer fragrance will cost more than that these days. And even some Middle Eastern clones are not much cheaper, so it's an absolutely brilliant pickup for the money. It's really long lasting for a fresh fragrance, and it smells extremely masculine and stylish. Okay, next up is one of my go-to night out fragrances, and in my opinion it's about as close as you're going to get to the perfect evening scent. This is Noir Extreme Parfum from Tom Ford, and it's a semi-sweet amber vanilla fragrance for men, and it produces a magnificent aroma with a warm, spicy and slightly leathery character, and boy does it ooze class and sophistication. It's really smooth and well blended, and it has a velvety, brushed suede-like texture. It's an extremely comforting and relaxing scent that would work perfectly for a date night or a dressed-up event. It's definitely a night-out fragrance though, and I feel it'd be way too rich to wear casually during the day. The performance is decent enough, but I'd like just a little bit more from it as the wearer, simply because I just enjoy it so much. There's some fragrances that I'll get constant wafts from, but this isn't one of them, and after the first half hour or so I tend to slightly lose connection with it. But that doesn't mean it's a weak performer, because it does pull in compliments 3 or 4 hours after that I've first sprayed it, so it's definitely a decent projector. It's not a loud and obnoxious fragrance though, and it just kind of whispers class rather than shouting crass. Okay, next we have another one that flies slightly under the radar, so a good option if you're looking for something a little bit more different and exclusive. This is Voyage de Hermes Parfum, which is described as a warm, spicy, ambery fragrance that's somehow more suitable for the daytime wear in my opinion, because it also contains notes like juniper, cardamom, tea and green notes. So it opens up with a nice, bright, fresh fougere-like quality, and even though vetiver isn't listed in the official note breakdown, it does have an unmistakable terre de mes type grassy outdoor freshness to it. It's fairly green and herbaceous to start off with, and you get a slight spiciness, but as it dries down, the base notes of sandalwood, amber and musk do come through a bit more and just kind of round off the edges and warm things up a little bit. But for me it never becomes what I'd describe as an out and out warm fragrance, and instead it stays fairly bright and airy with a fair amount of muskiness in the background. This is a mature smelling fragrance with a bit more of a retro quality to it that makes it more suitable for men maybe in their mid-30s and upwards. But again, this is a scent that will command respect, and when I smell this, it gives off vibes of like a confident, well-dressed man that's had a bit of success and is in authority. It's quite a serious and grown-up fragrance, and there's nothing really seductive or playful here. It's kind of a no-nonsense, down-to-business type scent. Okay, so we're now back to one that I would consider to be perfect to wear in the evenings, and this one is a very high class quality designer scent which smells way more expensive than the price that you pay for it. This is Bulgari Man in Black, which is an amber floral fragrance from 2014, and pretty much like the Tom Ford one that I've just spoken about. This is a smooth, warm and classy smelling scent with a slightly powdery texture. But this has more of a tobacco-based sweetness and has slightly more of a youthful and playful character with more prominent floral notes, and also has a boozy rum note included up top. It's quite a dark, rich and full-bodied aroma with a slight black orchid type vibe about it, and it's a very elegant fragrance that I tend to wear when I'm dressed up rather than casually, and it's without doubt an evening and cold weather scent. It's masculine and very seductive, that just smells really suave and refined, and it really pulls people in. It's got a moderate projection that people around you will notice, but it's not really what I would consider a room filler, and you'll get maybe 5 to 6 hours of longevity out of it. It is an incredibly stylish designer scent though, and again, like the others on this list, it just oozes class, maturity and sophistication. Okay, so the seventh one in today's selection is basically the whole reason why I decided to create this video, because after wearing it a couple of weeks ago for the first time in ages, it kind of made me wonder if there's such a thing as a fragrance out there that defines the term gentlemanly more than this next one does. I don't think there is. This is a worldly wise gentleman in a bottle, and it's Eau Sauvage by Christian Dior. It's a simple citrus aromatic fragrance with notes of lemon and bergamot up top, lavender and vetiver in the heart, and we've got a limy resin in the base. It's a super bright and fresh barbershop type fragrance that some people will definitely think smells a bit old fashioned and something that your dad or your granddad might wear, but for me it's the pinnacle of what a gents fragrance is all about. It's super crisp and sharp with a just stepped out of the shower type cleanliness about it. It's extremely uplifting and energising, and it's literally magical on a hot sunny day. But this for me is the ideal scent to complement a 40-something man, perhaps in a tailor-made suit from Savile Row, and maybe a crisp white shirt where you could cut yourself on the creases down the sleeves. It's for the sharpest of sharp dressers, and it's sacrilege to even talk about it whilst I'm sat here wearing a hoodie, but yep, you can't get much more distinguished and gentlemanly than this bad boy. Right, so we've just got a couple more to go, and this next one has come in for a little bit of criticism lately due to its recent reformulations not being as good as previous blends, but luckily mine's one of the older versions pre-2019 with the magnetic cap, and this is Acqua di Gio Profumo from Giorgio Armani. This is a really sharp, punchy fragrance with powerful aquatic, woody and spicy accords. It's crisp and fresh, but also has a masculine, earthy background layer. It's an absolute beast of a performer with a room-filling sillage and all-day longevity. This is definitely a man's man sort of fragrance with a bit of a no-nonsense character, and if you can pick up a bottle with the magnetic cap, then definitely snap it up because it's a masterpiece, and the older it gets, the more classic it becomes, and it's still probably my favourite in the Acqua di Gio lineup. And finally, at the top of the bill, we're going all retro and to one of my all-time favourite fragrances. How can you talk about a masculine, gentlemanly scent and not include this legendary bad boy? This is Paulo Green by Ralph Lauren. And this is a stunning fougere with the best cypress note that I think you'll find in any fragrance. It's breathtakingly fresh, and it's like you're taking a walk through a pine forest on a cold, snowy day. It's green, airy and outdoorsy, and this scent profile just cuts through the air, and this stuff enters a room before you do. It's an absolute beast that's perfect to wear with a sharp suit, and I know reviewers waffle on about compliment pulling fragrances, but none of the scents in my own collection have come close to attracting compliments more than this has over the years. It was massively popular in the UK back in the 1990s, and it's lost its way a little bit in recent years. So if you were to wear it now, it'd really set you apart, especially on younger guys that are wanting something a bit more edgy and grown up. But I'd say definitely check this one out if you haven't already got your nose on it. It's an absolute gem. Okay, so that's about it for this episode, and I hope you'll all agree that there's been some really big hitters in today's list, and it's been fun going back in time and to revisit a few old classics rather than always looking forward for the next big fragrance release that never really seems to arrive. And if you found today's video useful in any way, please don't forget to give it a like and maybe subscribe to the channel, and that way you won't miss any future content going forwards. I am also looking forward to including much more non-fragrance related content on the channel because after producing 350 fragrance based videos, you start to become a bit like a parrot saying the same things over and over again. So big props to the channels out there that have managed to keep going for like 10 years. I salute you, because it's not easy kind of talking creatively about scent profiles that you've come across 10 times before, and you do kind of hit a brick wall from time to time when you've smelled a certain amount of notes and accords. I will definitely though keep reviewing any fragrances that I find interesting, but like I say, I am going to mix things up a little bit now with some different stuff, so I hope you support my other stuff as well as these fragrances. So as always, guys, thank you once again for tuning in. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.